everybody, welcome back to the next episode of Mystery Box Monday. And actually, this is just episode number 2. If you don't know what Mystery Box Monday is all about, I encourage you to follow the link, and I'll put it up there, to the first episode in this series. And that first episode will explain what I've got going on here. So without further ado, I'll jump right into this week's episode. Like I said in the first video, if I do this on camera, I'll notice what's in the box when I edit, so let me take the box off screen. I am reaching in, and I am pulling out 1, 2, I'm going for a third, let's see if I can get it, 3 items. Okay. Got a lot of dies this time. Last episode we had a lot of alphabet products. So this is a Studio Katia creative dies, and it says Sweet Latte Coordinating Dies. So I am going to be doing some die cutting for this episode. Let's see, this one says Sugar Pea Designs SPD00267. And by looking at the shapes, maybe it's some pets? I'm going to have to cut out some of these shapes and see if I can discern what's going on here. But despite what these larger shapes are, I do notice that there are some smaller shapes here that we can definitely put to some good use in some creative ways. So we've got that. And then we've got Faber-Castell or Faber-Castell. I've heard it pronounced both ways, and I don't actually know. It says Mixed Media Stencils. I don't necessarily see a product line name, but here's another code number, F18308C. Now, I got all of these things from Simon Says Stamp in a big mystery box, and so I believe all of these products are discontinued from their shop in some way, but that doesn't mean you might not be able to find them somewhere else, so that's why I'd like you to have information on what I'm using. And so, let's take a look inside. So I am taking the time to prep all of these dies. Alright, I've got everything prepped, and this set I decided to cut out some of the shapes to see if I could try and figure out what they were. And so it really does look like some kind of pets. This looks like a cat or maybe a dog, and also a cat or a dog. And at first I thought this might have been a little bone, but looking at it really up close, it kind of looks like a bow tie. So maybe it's a little accessory to go on a critter. We've got a star. I'm not sure what that is. That looks like a little cat head. So why am I doing this? I've got these dies that clearly belong with a stamp set. And that stamp set, or those 2 stamp sets, may very well still be in that mystery box. And I don't know it right now. So if I had opened this box up all at once, I might have gotten things that coordinate together. Then again, these might have just been random things that are ended up in the box. So what I'm looking at here is possibilities. So I have all of these shapes that could be a cat, but what else could it be? And I think the lesson in this exercise is to look at your supplies in a different way, in a different perspective, kind of get your creative juices flowing. So while it's silly, and that's mostly why I'm doing this project, there actually is another purpose behind it. It's to really figure out how you can become more creative with the supplies. So I have to admit, I do need some time to think about this one. With the last episode, I had ideas right away. Not so much this time. So I'm going to take a break, see what my brain comes up with, and then I'll come back to this. So I sat down and took some time and really looked at these products, and where did my mind go? Snowflakes. Now, how did I get snowflakes out of any of this? You saw that shape that I just picked up. That just reminded me of an arm on a snowflake. And these tiny shapes from what seemed to be a pet set could be flourishes on the ends of snowflakes. And the stencils encouraged me to get out some mixed media and add some watery, drippy effects. So where I started with a set of dies that seem to have to do with coffee, and a set of dies that seem to have to do with pets, and a set of stencils that seem to have to do with florals and kind of journaling messages. And I came up with snowflakes. So that's the creativity I'm looking for when I'm doing these projects. So I took a punch and just punched out the same shape multiple times out of watercolor paper. And I'm using some shades of ink that I think will go well together with some non-traditional snowflake colors. We are expecting some snow next week, so I was really hoping that these embellishments would come to some good use. So I got some blues and purples and greens, and now you wouldn't normally use green with snowflakes, but like I said, it doesn't have to be traditional colors. And I'm just inking up these, they're kind of a scalloped circle, and I'm putting some heavier ink in the middle, and then I'm marking the center of my shapes in order to use this flower punch and just some plain water, because I am using the Distress Reactive ink. I'm just using some plain water to help lift some of the ink, just to give some texture. It's not really getting a flower shape on there, it's just giving the ink a little bit more texture. And I repeat it with all the shapes. And you can see here that it just adds a little bit of extra dimension to this project. And there it is. So I move on. I'm going to use this little what is a spoon die, and I'm going to make arms onto a snowflake. And now I'm doing kind of a snowflake negative inside of these scallop circles. And at first I think I'm going to use 6 arms on the snowflake, and you'll see later that it ends up not fitting. I just misestimated how much space I would have, and I end up doing 4 arms. So I'm just running it through my little die cut machine and adding some shape inside of this other circle shape. And here's where you can see that I've decided to just go with a 4-pronged approach, I guess you could call it. And so I have, and this is not even a traditional snowflake shape, and yet to me, I'm going to use these embellishments on a page that will be about snow, and the bright colors, and these little pieces were from the other set, and there was a double circle shape in that set that didn't even mean anything to me in terms of what it could possibly be. It's just a shape. And I'm adding this as accents to these snowflakes, and I use some sparkle, some glitter paper from Die Cuts with a View, and I'll try and link that product below. And this just gives some dimension and texture and shape. And when you put all these things together with some photos of snow, then you're going to get a feeling more than you're going to get an image, and that's what I was going for here. And here are my snowflakes all finished. I saved those positive spoon shapes, and if you use them in this orientation, they give you more feeling and depth to this idea of snow. And so I will use all of these pieces together when I get to making a layout. So fingers crossed that we actually get snow. So I hope this encourages you to take a look at your products and find other possibilities. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and get notifications for my future videos.